Good morning and welcome to this morning's roundtable. My name is Peter Matthews. I'm the editor of Firehouse, and I'd like to thank you all for joining us for today's program, which is The Connected Firefighter, the evolution of technology in the fire service. Our first panelist today is Don Bernardelli, and his primary focus in his role at MSA is to understand the needs of the fire service and deliver on those needs with innovative respiratory protection products in the U.S. and Canada, as well as aiding global messaging, content creation, training, and go-to market strategies. Next up today is Jasmine Spencer, and her primary focus in her role at MSA is to understand and deliver the needs of the fire service products, software, and solutions, as well as aid in the global messaging and content creation, as well as training and general market support for the fire service. Most recently, Jasmine led the North American launch of the Lunar connected device and the FireGrid programs, which contributed to the expansion of the Connected Firefighter platform. Prior to joining MSA, Jasmine held roles in operations at General Motors and Parker Hannifin. Next is Selma Sosik, and she's the Global Product Line Manager for FireGrid and Psychological Monitoring. With a master's degree in bioengineering and business administration, her primary focus at MSA is to lead the development strategy of the FireGrid software platform and the psychological monitoring solution for both fire service and industrial markets. And our last panelist today is Bubba Stoltz, and he is the First Responder Sales Manager for Fire Service Products at MSA Safety in the Central United States. In addition to his sales responsibilities, he was part of MSA's development strategy team for the Connected Firefighter platform. Prior to joining MSA, Bubba was a professional firefighter with the Brownsburg Fire Territory in Indiana for 10 years. Before we get into the roundtable, I would like to fire up the video. It's a really good look at the program and where it's at right now. That's great. A great look at what's going on and what we're going to talk about here today, and really just the evolution of technology on the fire ground. So thanks to the folks at MSA for putting that together and sharing that with us here today. Before we get into the program, first, I want to apologize. I said psychological. It's actually the physiological monitoring. That's what Selma's role is here, and it's kind of helping out with everything that we're going to be talking about today. So that's physiological and not psychological. Apologize for that. Before we begin, I just want to remind you, please send in your questions for the panelists today, and we'll get to those at the end of the program. And Dom, I'm going to turn this over to you. And again, just a big thanks for leading this today. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. Hi, everybody. I'm going to get us kicked off with our discussion, talking G1 SCBA specifically. So I'm going to highlight 3 topics here: improved communications, advanced ergonomics and situational awareness, and return on investment. So, starting with improved communication, the G1, we wanted to enhance, firefighter communication on the fire ground. And 2 ways that we've done that is integrate Bluetooth communications into every G1. So Bluetooth is standard, and therefore, we're compatible with radios on the fire ground for Bluetooth communications. So over the years, since the G1 was launched, we are now compatible with Motorola, Harris, Kenwood, and BT technology radios. And we continue to advance that technology through some of our firmware updates. So as new radio models get released, we can add those radios to our compatibility list. Next, in voice communications, speak about voice amplification. So we took standard voice amplification in the fire service in previous SCBA iterations. The voice amplifier was attached to the facepiece, and what we did with the G1 is remove that voice amplifier from the facepiece and put it on the harness. So that accomplishes a couple of things. One, it reduces the weight of the facepiece, and it makes improved communications more economical. So instead of having one voice amplifier for every facepiece and individually issued facepieces, we take that burden off of the facepiece and put it onto the harness. Lastly, one thing that makes the G1 communications really special is the microphone that's built into the regulator, and it intelligently eliminates inhalation noise as well as reduces background noise. So, you really reduce that Darth Vader effect, and with it being built into the regulator and not attached to the facepiece, again, it reduces the weight, the electronics, the batteries that we, had previously seen being required to be added to the facepiece, to add weight and snag hazards. Moving into advanced ergonomics and situational awareness, I first highlight the adjustable swiveling lumbar pad that we offer as an option on the G1. So this allows for 3 different positions of height adjustment in the G1 harness lumbar pad that also swivels. So you can choose from the highest point, a midpoint, and a lower point for height, and this can be customized per shift. So you have smaller firefighters to large firefighters, and it can be changed per shift based on your customized need. I mentioned the facepiece before, but we'll highlight it again here, just due to the fact of the reduced weight that's on the facepiece. So you're often working for hours at a time, and if you have an external or an internal additional product that accomplishes the HUD, or you have voice amplification, all those electronics are removed from the G1 facepiece. So you still can accomplish some of the required aspects of an SCBA like a HUD, but even the additional added features and added safety features like voice amplification and Bluetooth radio communications, those are all powered through the SCBA, and you're not adding any weight, any hardware, any snag hazards to the facepiece. Lastly, on situational awareness, this really comes into where we've improved the G1 over time, is added technology options. So we do have an option with the G1 to integrate a thermal imaging camera into, the control module that we call, or commonly known as a pass device, so that you can, every firefighter on the fire ground can have, additional situational awareness and improved situational awareness by putting a tick in every firefighter's hand. This can also be seen, with Lunar, that we'll talk about later on. Last topic that I'll cover is return on investment. And as far as technological advancements go, we do have a rechargeable battery for the G1 SCBA. This is, an example of a technology upgrade that we made, after the G1 was launched in 2014. So, as new technology becomes available, we added this product as an option, and it can seamlessly be used interchangeably between an alkaline battery pack or a rechargeable battery. Really, the benefit here with a rechargeable battery is it cuts down on, all the purchases and time a fire department typically has to go through when they need to swap out batteries. You can swap out a rechargeable battery in seconds by popping out a dead battery with our battery removal tool, and simply, push in a new battery that's charged, and, go back to work. Voice amplification, I mentioned before. This also reduces cost, because instead of issuing voice amplification for every individually issued face piece, now we're taking that cost and reducing it, because typically, fire departments have, 2 or 3 face pieces for every one SCBA harness. Now we've taken that cost, put it onto the harness. So you're, reducing voice amplification costs by, 2 or 3x. Lastly, on return of investment, before I pass it over to Jasmine, I just want to point out that the G1, with the Bluetooth capability that it has, we're able to offer firmware updates to fire departments as technology improves and advances, and as new products, become available on the market. So, just as an example, when Lunar was released, we were able to put a firmware update. You're able to take that SCBA, connect it via Bluetooth to a PC, and get the latest and greatest software version of the G1 SCBA that we put out onto the market. And in the case with Lunar, the Lunar more recently released, we put a firmware update out for the G1. And now with that new firmware update, the G1 and the Lunar can connect, work together, and really enhance the connected firefighter platform. So those are the 3, main topics I wanted to cover to get us kicked off with the G1 SCBA, as the center of the connected firefighter platform. And now I'll turn it over to Jasmine.
Awesome. Thanks, Dom. So Dom really started us off talking about the G1 and how it evolved over the years to be the center of the connected firefighter platform. So we've progressed and evolved from supplying air to a technology system to offering a platform of connected products and ultimately creating a network of safety. So I'm going to talk more holistically about the connected firefighter platform and how it embodies technology to really help fill in those potential gaps, needs, or just areas where more connection can equate to more confident decisions. So the connected firefighter platform provides everything from cloud-enabled connectivity, air management, accountability on and off air, thermal imaging, search and rescue technology, tablet-based local monitoring, remote monitoring, asset management, and so much more, really. But what it really boils down to, or the essence of connected firefighter, is supporting many facets of incident management, inventory management, and maintenance and compliance. So let's get started talking about incident management. So whether it's really knowing what products are on scene and their status, who is on scene and their status, or what processes are being followed, it is about having as complete information as possible and being able to make the most confident decisions. Our devices in the connected firefighter platform, and specifically the tablet-based application FireGrid Monitor, address just that. So Lunar, Dom started talking about it, is one of the devices in the connected firefighter platform. So as we briefly saw in the video, Lunar is a handheld wireless device enabling connectivity, edge detection, enhanced thermal imaging, and firefighting assisting search technology, or FAST, for search and rescue. So Lunar embodies 3 types of connectivity. We have Bluetooth, LTE-M, and lunar to lunar. The Bluetooth, as Dom mentioned, is for pairing with external devices such as the G1 to make the G1 cloud-enabled or cloud-connected for air management and accountability with our FireGrid application for local monitoring. LTE-M is the direct cloud connection or the direct connection Lunar has to allow it to be cloud connected and for the device's information to be shared locally for local monitoring and for remote monitoring, so somewhere completely off scene. Last but not least, the Lunar to Lunar network is the ad hoc self-forming network that keeps the lunar devices constantly communicating even when the devices are in heavy infrastructure. So it is also the network that FAST, or that firefighting assisting search technology, works on, which means even if you lose LTE, you have the means to aid in being found and helping find a downed firefighter. These are just a few examples of how processes using devices and data created through the Connected Firefighter platform can complement already established traditions and existing techniques. So second, FireGrid inventory management. FireGrid inventory management is our application for managing assets, personnel information, locations you frequently use, such as maybe a hydro testing facility, fit testing, work orders, and purchase orders. So having this data really aids in proactive decision-making about your products, such as what preventative maintenance may be needed, or even when testing is needed for personnel or products. With internet access, this information is accessible from anywhere and makes really knowing what products you have, who has them, what locations they're at, or if they need service, as easy as a few clicks of a button. FireGrid has several features that address maintenance and compliance. So whether it's using our cell phone application, FireGrid Configure, to personalize, configure, update Lunar, or using our web-based FireGrid Web to look at automated reports to identify training opportunities or trends in the department. Using our connected devices means on-scene data such as what time an event started, the duration, maybe it's the device serial number or personalization, and the events that happen, like an alarm, they're automatically recorded and sent to the cloud for future review. That means even if IC isn't on scene for whatever reason, that report is still automatically created and available for posting, review, and reporting. So through FireGrid, we've really streamlined and simplified the process of maintenance, compliance, and reporting for a very friendly user experience, or with a friendly user interface. So whatever combination of products, be it the G1, our hub, Lunar, FireGrid, or other pieces of the platform, we have the network of products to aid in increased safety, data, proactively driving confident decisions, and overall management, even off-scene. So there's so much value in being connected, having the right information to make fact-based decisions, and knowing the investment that you are making is only going to get better over time. With that, I'm going to pass it over to Selma to tell us a little bit about what you can expect from Connected Firefighter in the future.
Thanks, Jazz. All right, so let's move on to new features, new products, and partnerships. So MSA is continuously expanding its head-to-toe portfolio with connectivity. With the Connected Firefighter platform, our goal is ultimately to optimize a department's management of their people, their products, and their procedures. So the head-to-toe product portfolio and connectivity solutions ultimately position MSA to offer those powerful insights to our customers, helping them make those better decisions that Jazz was talking about around incident management, inventory management, and reporting. So some of the feature enhancements you can plan to see in FireGrid in the short term include map view on FireGrid Monitor. So with Lunar, our Connected Firefighter platform is ultimately able to leverage the GPS coordinates of firefighters using Lunar to plot them on a map during an incident, giving incident command more situational awareness and accountability for those that are on scene. On the inventory management platform, you'll see the addition of not only Globe assets, but actually all of our competitive turnout gear assets that will be in the system for cleaning, testing, maintenance. Everything that Jazz just discussed is available in the inventory management platform. we're also starting to leverage the data that we collect during the incident to optimize the fire department maintenance procedures. So MSA really aims to simplify and automate the department processes after live fire scenes have ended, since departments have to manage their fleet. So a really good example of this is our collaboration with London Fire Brigade to drive their SCBA maintenance program by hours under pressure as opposed to years of life. So ultimately, a significantly more accurate representation of the SCBA wear and usage. So this data is automatically stored, as Jazz was talking about, in FireGrid today as a department conducts their day-to-day operations with no additional steps required, no changes to the SOPs. FireGrid stores that data as a cloud-based system. So this really addresses the concerns of over-servicing, over-testing, and adding unnecessary cost and resource in maintaining existing SCBA products. And then the last piece for the reporting platform, we also plan to improve and expand that as well, offering more insights into firefighter information during the incident. So information such as average breathing rates, total time on air, start and end time of air pressure, and so forth. So those are all the FireGrid enhancements you can expect to see from MSA in the short term. Switching gears to new product development, MSA is currently working on our communications control unit, or what we call the CCU. So this product is an evolution of the voice amplification capabilities launched with the G1 that Dom was mentioning, introducing hands-free team talk capabilities. So it's designed to be worn both on and off air, and the CCU seamlessly integrates with existing radios customers are using. And then when using an SCBA, it'll ultimately reduce the content on the firefighter by combining the remote speaker microphone and the voice amp on the G1. So this development is currently ongoing. So stay tuned for more information about the CCU. And the last piece that I really want to touch upon today is MSA's commitment to expanding the platform with technology partnerships, specifically our ongoing partnership with PhotoKite, an autonomous tethered drone technology. So about last year, MSA strategically invested in the autonomous drone technology because this partnership really opens a door for MSA to explore new to world ways to enhance firefighter safety through increased situational awareness. And we make this possible by combining PhotoKite's expertise in autonomous and actively tethered drone technology with MSA's experience in developing products and technologies for firefighter safety and accountability. So again, more to come on that partnership in the near future. You'll see that integrated into FireGrid in the short term there. But now passing it off to Bubba to talk about what the field is saying.
Thank you, Selma, and thank you, Pete and Firehouse, for this opportunity for the roundtable discussion. I really appreciate what you guys are doing from education and training and some key insights to the fire service. My colleagues have done a great job of setting the table of that vision of the G1 platform. And this is, again, our commitment to that platform and developing the technology pieces. I get the distinct honor of working with firefighters right next to them, talking about technology, talking about what they need in the fire service. And the G1 platform is a great story. And the conclusion and the development of that product really shows that. So we continue on with this technology piece of lunar and firefighter connectivity. And the good part about my position is I really get the feedback and the insights of what products is the fire service asking for, what are they needing, and so I kind of break this down into kind of three segments of the tactical operations of search and rescue, especially for a firefighter that is down. Incident command structure, and also the administrative piece. And some of the great opportunities I had working with fire departments and working with the FAST technology, which is the firefighter assist search technology. Working with firefighters, you really start seeing the wheels spinning and questions being asked. And one thing that was brought up was, a firefighter brought to my attention is, MSA is really challenging us. And that was very insightful and provocative, understanding that they are thinking outside the box a little bit. We don't want to replace any of the search techniques and tactics that firefighters use. We want to create a tool and a product to enhance those search capabilities. So that was very insightful. And it's really about developing that critical thinking firefighter, thinking outside the box. And when you have those conversations and those opportunities for them to utilize that product, they really start developing their own strategies and methods. And, they come back to us with collaborative search methods. They also talk about, reverse application for self-rescue with the Lunar device. So it's really exciting to see what this technology is doing and assisting and protecting firefighters. The other piece is that incident command structure. There's a lot going on, a lot of chaos on the scene. And so this is kind of what I use as an acronym of TMS, technology made simple. We want an intuitive process for incident command structure as they're going through their benchmarks, and really things are happening so quickly that they understand and they know, even at the situation that they may not be on scene at the time of the firefighters, but that technology is there and it's collecting the data. And we do have eyes on that. And so it's great to know from incident command structure on what they need to do and their responsibilities, but also monitoring the fireground with the Lunar technology and also the hub pieces. The last piece is a lot more about the administrative level, where I think Selma touched on this pretty well, related to report information when we're talking about asset inventory and such. So it's really this entire ecosystem that allows fire departments as a one-stop solution. And so that's the benefit of those three major breakdowns. And also with the administrative piece from an on-scene incident, you do have the aspect and the piece to kind of conduct a post-incident analysis, pulling that data, pulling that information, what occurred, what alarms, who was in search. So really great insight information that is stored in that cloud ecosystem that is there for the long term and always accessible. So really great feedback from the field, real exciting information that we're receiving from the firefighter standpoint, but also from the incident command structure standpoint. So so that is what I have this far. So I will turn it back over to Pete.
Great. Thanks, Bob. I appreciate that. And just, again, great insight into every aspect of how this is all, becoming that connected platform, or how it is the connected platform. So we have some questions. Again, if you do have any questions for the group, please send them in, and we'll get to those here in just a minute as we go through here. The first question I have, Jasmine, we'll throw this to you. So we saw a great video at the very beginning, right? Kind of introduced us to everything on the connected firefighter platform. Ultimately, who is this solution for?
Pete, great question. So Connected Firefighter is a platform with a solution for all the departments. So for existing MSA customers, maybe they are interested in expanding their product portfolio beyond existing devices or capability, be it increased monitoring capability, enhanced vision, maybe a redundant network moving from a long-range radio system that our hub offers to an LTE device that Lunar offers, or maybe it's just accountability for everyone on scene. Or maybe it's a department that's not currently using an MSA SCBA. We have Lunar, which is standalone and absolutely offers cloud connectivity, thermal, all those things we talked about today. Whatever the solution is that fits the department's needs, the whole goal is to deliver communications or connections that provide visibility to make those confident decisions. We do that by getting the device data to the right people at the right time, whether that's the individual getting specific information like thermal imaging for situational awareness, or motion or manual alarm to notify the team there's someone in distress. Nonetheless, Connected Firefighter is for all departments, and our sales team can aid in identifying that right solution for all departments.
Great. Thanks, Jasmine. I appreciate that. And a follow-up question for you is, can you talk more about the Connected Firefighter platform and how that enhances the firefighters who are already using the G1 in their departments?
Sure. So Dom touched on this a little bit earlier, but first, when Lunar and the G1 are paired via Bluetooth, they offer accountability and air management. So on the Lunar screen, once the two are paired, you can see air pressure, estimated time remaining, battery status, and IC, your instant command or your safety officer, can now see the device's information as well. So it truly is an extension to the G1, which makes it cloud-enabled. In turn, means automated reporting is available, inclusive of those PSI readings over the duration of the scene. Beyond air management, we are connecting the entire team from a search and rescue perspective, enabling those confident decisions for IC, and offering remote monitoring for those that are off scene as well.
Great, thank you. Next question for you is, what features are available to those who are not on the G1 or who are not using G1 SCBA at this point? or even for those who are not on air? I know it was kind of touched on before as we wrapped up.
Sure. So for those not using a G1 SCBA, with Lunar, FAST, so our firefighting assisting search technology for search and rescue, is available. You still have thermal imaging, also our exclusive edge detection palette. They have that direct LTE connection. In addition, there's also the reporting we've been talking about, what happened on scene, who was there, if an event occurred. It's accountability for everyone on scene, whether they are on air or not, for local and remote monitoring. Essentially, you have everything available with Lunar, but air management when you don't have a G1 SCBA.
Great. Thanks, Jasmine. And Dom, we'll jump over to you. Another question for you here is this department's is using the MSA G1 SCBA. They're Bluetooth connected to the Kenwood NX 5200 radios. Can the G1 also use Bluetooth connection to Lunar at the same time as the radios?
Yeah, that's a great question, Pete. So yeah, the G1 SCBA has obviously Bluetooth enabled, comes standard, but the Bluetooth has two separate channels. So we have one audio channel where you connect to your radio, and then the second channel is more what I'd call a data channel. So that's where the Lunar comes in. Other potential future products come in. So we have one channel that's going to give you audio connection, and then another channel that's going to give you a data link connection. So to answer your question very specifically, yes, both can be paired at the same time.
Okay, great. Thank you. Let's see, Selma, we have a question for you here. It's just, earlier on you mentioned Matthew. Can you dive into the details on that and how that will impact FireGrid operations in the future?
Absolutely. So FireGrid today, like Jazz mentioned, shows air pressure status, alarm functionality, any Lunar search and rescue detail. This is a completely separate new view on FireGrid Monitor. So we'll be using Google Maps with satellite view as well. And what we're able to do is enable that GPS functionality of a Lunar device to plot every single individual firefighter with a Lunar on the map and showing that same exact air pressure data. So the pins will change color relative to alarm status. You'll also be able to see relative to the structure where your firefighters are. So ultimately, Incident Command will have a better picture of where is everybody relative to where we are in the incident that we are in. So that'll be very new and exciting for FireGrid Monitor for us.
Phenomenal. Thank you. Thank you. So next question here. It looks like this is for Bubba. What are some of the key features of the G1 SCBA that departments that you've worked with love the most?
Yeah, great question. This is, I think Dom had highlighted this pretty well. It's really about, again, listening to our market and listen to the fire service and understanding what they're wanting. And that was, taking that weight off the face piece, reducing those snag hazards, developing a central power supply, ergonomics, and at the end of the day, you've got, this technology platform. And that's a key part of really catapulting us to the Lunar and the FireGrid connectivity. So you've got the enhancement on communications with our speaker module. You've got the Bluetooth connectivity. So, firefighters are really wanting all the tools available to them, to make those tactical decisions and enhance their processes and mitigating those situations. So I would ultimately say face piece, central power supply, the ergonomics of the G1, and the future and the current connectivity of the SCBA.
Great. Thanks, Bubba. And another question for you. It says, when you're at departments and you're doing the demonstrations on the Connected Firefighter platform, is there an aha moment for the firefighters that you're working with where they really grasp the concept and see where it's applicable to their department's operations?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think when people ask that question, what is this? And when you go through a multiple choice test, you get to that last answer, all the above. And that's the great part about the FireGrid connectivity and the Lunar device. It is a thermal imaging device. It is connectivity. It is search and ranging for down firefighters. It does provide instant command structure. So, when you put all that together, that becomes that real aha moment. But for me, from a tactical standpoint, is really, as I mentioned earlier, the firefighters starting to think through it a little bit. How are they going to apply this to their search techniques? When they're in standard thermal imaging related to, how great that edge technology is, and then they switch over to fast and they see the information pieces that has that thermal imaging overlay. Firefighters are saying, that's great information, and there's never too much information when it comes to search and ranging for a down firefighter. And again, it's just an enhancement tool to support their current tactics and operations.
Great, thank you. But this one's for you as well. It says, what is some of the more consistent feedback that you're receiving where it helps fire departments, where I guess there's a common gap where the Connected Firefighter platform is filling in their day-to-day response needs?
I'm sorry, Pete, was that for me as well?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. I think, when we talk about the fire service and even during and post the COVID era, there's a depletion of resources and having firefighters and having that incident command structure set up. So we wanted to develop technology pieces as we touched on the slide at the fingertips. So that lunar device is right there. As the market kind of shifts a little bit to that personal thermal imaging device, we're trying to fill that gap a little bit. We started that with the integrated thermal imaging camera on the G1. When it comes to the incident command structure, we understand there's a lot that has to happen within those few minutes of arrival. We want that piece of information, again, at their fingertips with the tablet to have mobility, but also making sure they're focusing on the benchmarks all the while they are monitoring that on-scene situation, whether that firefighter is on or off air. So I think for us, it's really bridging the gap of simplicity, making this technology simple, something that they can implement in a system they've already adopted. And that's really, I guess, for us, trying to fill that void and helping them provide a solution-based system.
Great, thank you. And so it looks like we have another question for you as well, Bubba. We've got departments that are looking to, get demos for the technology and see how it fits into their system. What's the best means for folks to reach out and connect with their representatives from MSA?
Yeah, I've got a quick answer for that from a local standpoint, but I may actually switch over to Jasmine as to, she can field that question.
Yeah, absolutely. So the best way to test out Lunar, test out FireGrid is to get in contact with your local first responder sales manager through MSA or your local channel partner as well.
Great, thank you. And looks like the last question we have here is, are there any best practices or anything you can share from the perspective of the incident commander, or maybe it's a safety officer, depending on the department, and how they can kind of pull all this together and how they utilize it from their dashboard, right? I mean, we've talked about every aspect of it today, but, from the folks who are outside, whether they're in a command vehicle or a command post set up outside, what's the best practices for them to make sure everything is being monitored and understood what's going on?
Yeah, Pete, I'll take that one. So that's absolutely knowing your environment, knowing the structure you're in, having the right products for the scene that you're going to, right? So that's knowing who's there. So having the right personalization on your devices. So when they're monitoring on FireGrid Monitor, you're monitoring the right device that's with that person. So in the event that there is an event that happens, you know who's there, what happened to them. And with FireGrid Monitor, you can also assign a person into a team, a location, a task. So it's super important to have them assigned to the right team, right task, right location in the event of emergency. So the best thing to do, know who's there, have your devices personalized as they're being used, have them grouped in teams as they are currently being deployed on the fire scene, and monitor for any events that are happening or any alarms that occur while on scene.
All right, great. Thank you. Looks like we've gotten through all the questions. So, big thanks to all of you for coming out today to join us for this presentation. Dom, Jasmine, Selma, Bubba, thank you so much for your parts here. It's really exciting just to see, I'm in the Firehouse for 23 years now. It's changed tremendously in the last few years. Technology is it's mind-boggling. And then what you've all been able to pull together and really just kind of change the way things are going and really enhance the safety and the monitoring. Greatly appreciate that.
Thanks, Pete.
Yeah, thanks, Pete.
Okay, thank you. And as you can see there on the slide, you have msafire.com. You can go on there and learn some more. And thank you all very much. And for all those joining us today, thank you and stay safe.
Thank you.